South Korea's political scene is in chaos after President Yoon Suk-yeol made the country's first declaration of martial law in more than 40 years. Here's what you need to know about the country's political crisis. On the night of November 3rd, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol declared martial law, accusing the opposition of being anti-state forces and saying he was acting to protect the country from threats posed by North Korea. The military announced a ban on parliament and political parties with media under martial law control. That decision was not received well. The opposition Democratic Party called it essentially a coup d'etat. As tanks rolled into Seoul's streets, protesters gathered outside the National Assembly, calling for the withdrawal of martial law. Soldiers entered the National Assembly as lawmakers quickly voted to oppose the declaration. The 190 lawmakers who managed to get into the National Assembly early on December 4th unanimously voted in favor of blocking the martial law declaration and calling for its lifting. While some forces left parliament, the military-backed President Yoon seems to have backed down as the country's laws require the president to immediately lift martial law if parliament demands it by a majority vote. So, why did President Yoon make this move? Here's a bit of context. Yoon's People Power Party and the main opposition Democratic Party are at odds over the 2025 budget. The opposition cut around $2.8 billion from Yoon's $477 billion budget, targeting reserve funds and budgets for his office, the prosecution, the police, and the audit agency. Yoon's approval rating also dropped to 19% over economic discontent and controversies involving his wife. South Korea's main opposition Democratic Party has said it would initiate impeachment proceedings against President Yoon Suk-yeol unless he immediately resigned. Impeaching a president requires support from 2/3 of the parliament, 200 of its 300 members. The Democratic Party and other small opposition parties together have 192 seats, but about all 18 lawmakers from Yoon's ruling People Power Party cast ballots supporting the rejection. If Yoon is impeached, he'll be stripped of his constitutional powers until the Constitutional Court can rule on his fate. Prime Minister Han Duck-soo would take charge. Meanwhile, the U.S., a staunch South Korean ally, said it had no warning of the move and that it was following the events with great concern. After all, Washington has some 28,500 troops stationed in the country. South Korea is no stranger to political chaos, having had military-backed governments which occasionally proclaimed martial law in the past. So what's next for the country and its now embattled president?